Alright guys, here in this video here, I will show you my personal Assassination talent build for Dungeons and Mythic Plus and what I personally use. So, today we're not going to cover like in-depth gameplay. We're going to give you guys some of the basics after I went over the talents. So, stick along for the ride. Alright, so here we have the talent build that I have set up currently for Dungeons. It is basically pretty straightforward. One of the few things that you may have noticed that we're not taking tricks of the trade. And that is simply because we still want to go down this path here. And we want to go down to Shadow Step and Tight Spender. And Tricks of the Trade wasn't an option because we're going to need that point elsewhere. So, let me go over some of the options, right? We go to Improve Sprint and Cheat Death, mostly because we want to go down to Thieves Versatility, which grants us 4% more verse, which is just a ridiculously amount of stat boost. Acrobatic Strikes, also really useful in Mythic Plus if you want to stay out of like AoE. There's a lot of mobs that do like a little whirlwind attack. Alacrity and Deeper Stratagem, must-haves, because we'll be using a lot of finishes and we will have a lot of combo points to give out. So Deeper Strat definitely worth. Recuperator, we want to get Echoing Reprimand and Resounding Clarity. More on that later because this is actually really helpful for our owners when we're going to get a lot of bleeds out. This spec here mainly builds out a lot around the bleeds and makes bleeds just go crazy. So definitely Echoing Reprimand, Resounding Clarity, also like a really good for sustained damage, getting some more and fast max combo point finishes out there. Over here we are basically filling out the poison tree, which you can almost see like it's like Assassination, then it's Outlaw, and then Sub in the trees, right? So more towards the Assassination side, we're basically filling it out. However, we're not going to take Cold Blood and we're not going to take Thistletea. Two reasons for that. We're going to have a lot of bleeds and we're going to have a lot of poisons out. So we're not going to like energy. And Mastery is kind of a mess that, although it is like a flat damage increase to our bleeds and our poisons, which is good because it's where our damage comes from. The amount of verse it takes to get that damage up compared to what you can gain from other stats is just generally not worth it and has never really been. It's nice to have a little bit of because then you get a lot of extra percentage in the beginning, but it's usually not worth to stack, and Thistletea has just not been worth it. Cold Blood, I don't know if you noticed it, but like you can probably guarantee a crit on Phantom Lives, which is not that much damage. Which is like the only AoE like hit. Like Assassination is all about like spreading your dodge a lot, and we're gonna do that with a specific talent here in the Assassination tree later. So this is basically the Assassination tree. Notable words here: we have like Deadly Precision, we have Vigor, more energy regen. We have Lethality, also really good damage output. And then Seal Fate, really nice. Generally a lot of good stuff over here in the talent tree. One thing, Numbing Potion or is Atrophic Potion, it's kind of, yeah, you can take whatever, right? But one thing we want to get is we want to get Master Poisoner as well. Because one of the things that Assassination actually excel at here in this patch or this expansion is we lower the damage everything else does. And we can lower the damage by a lot of mobs, by quite a lot. So pick your preferred. Is like, do you want like less slow attack speed, or do you want them just to do less base damage? I decided to go for my numbing. I'm still so used to calling this mind numbing because it used to be cast time only. But yeah, you pick your poison. Pun intended. Yes. All right, let's go over to the Assassination tree. One of the beautiful things Assassination is now getting, we're getting 2 stacks of Shadow Step. Hell yeah, I like that. Venomous Wounds, we want that energy regen. The more... This is also the reason why we do not need Thistletea, because like we have so much energy regen. Improved Shift, we're going to have to take because we're going to need elaborate planning. We're going to need Cut to the Chase. Lightwave Shift, also really good. Worth taking. 1 additional shift charge. Yes, give it to us. Bloody Mess. This is a lot of damage. So try and count with me here. This is 30% Garrett damage. We're going to take Death Mark because it's our main damage cooldown and it's really good. We're going to take Improved Garrett. So that's this. So here we got 30. Here we get 50%. Though only when we are coming out of stealth and using Garrett. More on that later here. Exsanguinate is just a staple of Assassination these days here for Bleedy build. Really good. So we're gonna skip Master Assassin, and we are gonna take Lethal Dose here. More damage and poison, complete abilities, yes. Must. Iron Wire. So, one thing we could do here, because we don't actually need Iron Wire to take anything else, is that we could take Master Assassin instead. But I find, like, for Dungeons and Mythic Plus, the amount of damage reduction you gain from Iron Wire is a lot. And Master Assassin used to be back in the old days when this talent first came out. And it has since then been like, nope, nerfed into the ground. And it's been nerfed even harder. So, instead of 70, we only gain 30% crit. Instead of, it used to, all back in the days, it used to be 100% crit. It used to be for 5 seconds. Now it's only 3 seconds and 30% crit. And those 3 seconds are usually spent coming out of stealth as where you set up your bleeds. If this was still 100%, you could get some funky stuff going here with popping and vanish after having everything bled up and then vanishing. But that vanish is better kept to like reapply more Garrets with the massive increase of damage here. We also have Shrouded Suffocation, which causes Garret to do even more damage. Hey, more damage out of stealth. Yes. Why do we not want that? Yeah, right. We want that. It is amazing. Such a good talent. And Scent of Blood. Each enemy affected by a rupture increases your agility by 3% up to 24. It's really funny. It's really, really funny that is 24. Because that is 8 ruptures we're going to go up. We're going to like, Chris, you're not going to have time to like build up 8 ruptures. Oh, control, my friend. Of course we're going to do that because we're going to do that with Indiscriminate Carnage, which is the backbone of this whole spec. Carnage is so fun to play, and which is why I'm probably going to, even though Assassination, if Assassination turns out not to be the greatest for Mythic Plus, Outlaw looks all to be really good. One of the downsides to Assassination compared to Outlaw, just to like take a little side note quick, is that Outlaw does not require the mobs to be alive for a certain amount of time to do any damage. They can still pump out the DPS if they die really quick. Assassination doesn't really have that, because we are basing our damage off dust. So the more longer they're alive, the better for us. Which is, well, of course, going to be in higher keys. So, Carnage, so you can basically put together here what we're going to do. So what Carnage does is that we gain a Rupture and a Garret that is now full bore AoE, which is stupidly fun. Which, with Venomous Wounds, like infinite energy. So, the other side of the talent here we're going to take Crimson Tempest. Of course, we're going to take everything we can to get more Fan of Dive damage, more AoE. So we're going to take Flying Daggers. We're going to take Thrown Precision. Systemic Failure. Blindside is kind of You could also take Tiny Toxic Blade here. I prefer Blindside because it's a bit more output. And its free combo points is just generally nice. Again, Tiny Toxic Blade. Also an option if you don't want that extra button. Doesn't perform as well. Hey, execute on all our bleed. Hell yeah. And then we might as well take Kingsbane. Kingsbane is a great talent. If you have a big pack with like one big mob, you do your whole Carnage open and you throw a Kingsbane and an Exsanguinator Death Bag into the big mob. Everything dies at the same time. This here is going to be really nice. So, this is basically the talent choices. You might figure like Dragon Tempered Place. Like the middle row here is pretty much just Internal Bleeding. I mean, it's not worth because we need the things for other items or other talents. And this is pretty much as good as it gets. I've tested this and I've played around with it. I've played around mixing around the talents. And like this is what I've gotten the best options to. I think my personal best in the dungeon is an average like 42k overall. And what am I currently sitting at? Around 360 equipped. I have some PvP gear on here. So about 360 equipped and 42k overall DPS. With talents and trinkets that may vary, and like depending on how you tank pulse and all that. But that's what I've gone to. So really, really good build, really fun build, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So now we're gonna take a look at how this plays out. Alrighty here. So let's just show you the quick the quick overview of like how I usually play this and how I play the opener. And then I'll talk a little bit more about like how it plays out and what you can do in different situations. We have a bunch of cleave training dummies here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop indiscriminate carnage. That lasts for like until you do something with it. And what we're gonna do then here is that we are gonna go and we are gonna pop Garrett. Get everything on Garrett here. We're gonna get some copper points. Then we're gonna drop a Crimson Tempest. We are gonna pop our Echoing Reprimand into Rupture. So now we have all 3 bleeds and everything, and then we can just spam these here. See if we can land some empowered Crimson Tempest here with your Echoing Reprimand stacks. That's gonna do a lot more damage. Here it is not as important to keep your Slice and Dice up. If you have some time, you can do that. And if you have some bigger mobs, like this will generally do a lot of damage as the opener. And as we go over here, some of the other things, right? When we are pulling, right, try to like maximize your value out of indiscriminate carnage, because like a pull is likely going to be less than the cooldown, so you're not going to have it for every single pull. It's a 45-second cooldown, but it's going to be close, right? So try to see if you can use it optimally on the packs that have a lot of mobs. So let's say we have some packs that have like up to 8 mobs. We want to try and put the indiscriminate carnage in those, and then the packs that doesn't have as many mobs, what you can do is when you open with stealth is that you just manually Garrett 3 targets, and then you pump Deathmark, Kingsbane, Exsanguinate, and use those abilities on the bigger ads, and get those down and focus on that and try to get some more single target out. And in many cases when you have like more than 3 targets, it's really worth just to like use Crimson Tempest, because it does a lot of damage compared to the hit venom. Especially if 2 to 3 targets, Crimson Tempest is definitely viable just to pump out. And that is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the live stream over on twitch.tv/KillerChris. I'll have a link below. As well as in the pinned comment, there will be a import string for the talents in this video. So don't forget to join it from there if you don't want to bother putting it in yourself. Also, while you're done there, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment. That would be really helpful. And if you're wondering what to check out next, maybe check out one of the other videos. We recently had 20 streamers in a Mythic raid. Well, that was back in Shadowlands, as you might imagine, but it was hell of fun, so go and check that out.